Alright, on the play, we got our trusty Grizzly Bear, one of the only creatures in our deck that doesn't get the double pump from the True Faith Censor. But that's fine. We have our mountain, we have a Hanwari Garrison, so as soon as we draw another land, we can jam that guy, then hopefully equip, make him a 4/4 Vigilance, start attacking with our hero Bladehold. It's a nice little blocker. So the question is, do we want to play the Bygone Bishop or the Hanwari Garrison first? I think that we want to go with the Bishop. And we're actually going to attack first. I mean, it's extremely unlikely the opponent doesn't block, but I think it's even less likely that we need our blocker. Yep. So it's kind of just a free attack that 99 times out of 100 they block, and which means it's correct for me to attack every time in that spot for the one time they don't block. You never know, some people just either they have something in their hand that they just really need a creature, maybe they want to pump it, get some like really good bonus out of it, or merge it away, and they can't afford to lose it, or they just make a mistake and they don't block and they were supposed to block. Okay, so now we have a flyer. I think I like attacking with the bishop, and then playing the garrison and getting a clue. Whenever this guy attacks, put 2 1/1s attacking onto the battlefield. Humans. Flavor text, we're ready for anything. That's right, we are ready for anything. It's probably a blue-red heavy spell-based deck, because they have a prowess creature, they have a guy that's probably just there as like a random body to block while they set up their big spells. So we're going to have to start getting aggressive here pretty soon, I think. That's my guess. So we have some tools to accomplish that. We have a clue we could sack to try to get that 4th land that we're looking for. And if we hit a land, we could play the Censor. Or if the opponent doesn't do anything that affects the board, we could Choking Restraints the Ingenious Scob and just smash with everyone. Opponent likely blocks a token and takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go to 11. Maybe they'll get it real aggressive and attack. Wow, both. Yeah, I was going to say, that's super aggressive. Not blocking. Now these blue-red decks, you could think you're ahead, and they could be at like 1 life, and you're at 15, and out of nowhere they just like kill you. Granted, it usually involves Thermal Alchemist, but alright, so they don't have a good answer to these 1/1s. They can block one of them, they can block another guy with that guy. I think we're okay with that. I think we want to hold off on the Inspired Captain until next turn, so these tokens this extra token that we get gets another bonus. Because the +1 doesn't really fight through anything. Because the tokens won't get the bonus because his ability will resolve first. So we don't really, we get like 2 extra points of damage in by doing that. Maybe we could just play the True Faith Sensor, put it on the Hanward Garrison. Hopefully we don't get lightning axed here. Smash. Get some 1/1s. So he blocks a 1/1, blocks a 2/2, takes 4, 5, 6, 7. We lose a 1/1. And then next turn we could play the Inspired Captain. I guess this qualifies as Boros. We have 1 red card in our deck. I mean, our battlefield is like 2 white cards, 2 red cards, like plains and mountains. It's plenty Boros to me. This is about as Boros as you're going to get out of Craig Wesco. My Boros doesn't look red splashing white. My Boros looks like this. Alright, so they tap down our guy, get a clue. Gets a prowess trigger. See if they utilize that. They do not. They're on defense. They don't have an answer to this Bygone Bishop yet. See if we play the captain this turn, then they'll just block the 1/3. Yeah, they still just, we're just pumping our bishop by 1 if that happens. Opponent doesn't really have a creature we need to Choking Restraints. Although, if we do Choking Restraints, then draw our 5th land, we can activate it, and then we can get it back with the Ironclad Slayer. I'd like to set that play up. We could sack the clue, see what we get. Then we can maybe move the True Faith Sensor over somewhere. We could actually put it on this token. That would make it a 3/2. And then next turn it would be a 4/3 with the Inspired Captain to get through all their guys. Since we don't have any more red cards in our deck, we'll just top the mountain. Yeah, maybe we just go ahead and do that. Choking Restraints the Scab. We don't have an attack, though. We'll attack first. Stick to that on that guy. Not super worried about the Scry 1 each turn. It's a powerful effect, but I think we're applying sufficient pressure where that's not going to be a a significant thing that we have to deal with. Rather just clear out the blocker that could potentially kill an attacker. If the opponent's unable to eat more than just a human token each turn, then we're able to continue to widen our board. That'll advantage us considerably. Alright, so he's trying to put cards in his graveyard. It's the third zombie he's played. Discard 2 cards, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Okay. 1-3, get clues, fiery temper, a good one to know about. So if we attack with everyone, probably double blocks this guy to kill it, and then blocks this guy, the 0-4, and takes 4 down to 5. We could break that up. The Inspired Captain makes it 5-5. Means I can't do that. This guy's a 3, puts a point to 6. This guy, see, this guy can block the 3-3. This guy can block this guy. And then probably chump blocks this. Yeah, I think that leaves us in a pretty good position. The opponent doesn't really have good blocks here. And the opponent just concedes. And they're not dead, but they're having to like chump block, take a bunch of damage. It's not looking great for them. Alright, so blue-red has some self-mill cards, has some has a fiery temper, has some spells. It doesn't have humans, has like zombies and stuff like that. So Repel the Abomination could be a thing. Prevent all damage that will be dealt this turn by non-human sources. So if we could like counter a fiery temper and fog the opponent's, like if we just go attack with everyone, he's like, okay, block, fiery temper your guy, then we just completely blow him out. He like counters the fiery temper, prevents all your creatures from dealing damage to my creatures still deal damage to yours. Question is, do we need a more narrow trick like that? Is that better than spells we already have? I don't know. If they're blue, they'd probably bounce spells, so like maybe a Lunarch Mantle is less effective. Then again, we have a pair of Ironclad Slayers to get it back if they kill it. So the Strengthen Arms is the one to cut. But if they have Fiery Temper, so if they have red removal spells to deal damage, Strength of Arms can essentially counter it for 1 mana for value. Special Reserves seems pretty strong. Most of their creatures were ground creatures, so flying was pretty relevant. They didn't have humans, so that card seems really good. So this one's pretty reasonable attacker. Yeah, I think maybe I'll just make that one switch. Alright, so we have a turn 2 guy, turn 3 guy. We have a removal spell. If we draw lands, we can continue to curve 2, 3, 4, 5. If we draw like a land and some spells, we can cast most of the spells in our deck. So I guess we keep this on the draw. This guy kind of gets bricked by the 1/3 zombie for 2 that they played, but that's fine. Eventually we'll overcome that with like this guy for a turn, and then this guy will get online, this guy will be bigger. Alright, or grizzly bear. That could be a nice one. We're going to get our offensive creature on the board first before the priest, because we're looking to curve out. We don't really want to hold up a mana to tap a creature yet. I think we're okay with getting into a race situation, especially since we have the Faith Bearer. It's kind of brick wall that plan at some point. Opponent doesn't have a good block because our guy's 2/3, so he's just going to attack and offer the trade. I don't think we want to accept this trade. I think even though the opponent doesn't want to race, I think racing favors us. We're not really in a position to do otherwise. So here, I think it's kind of a free attack for us. I think the opponent's going to block, so they're going to think it's a free attack, and we'll just get them with the Strength of Arms. If we had a 3-drop creature and we didn't have a 2-drop creature in our hand, I would not do this. But since we can play 2 of these in the same turn and kill this guy, I think we attack. And if for some reason the opponent doesn't block, which I think is unlikely, then we just get free damage in, basically. So we basically just upgraded, traded a 1-mana spell for the 3-mana threat, which is the kind of ideal situation you want out of your pump spell, because we don't really lose any tempo. If we didn't cast this turn, we would just cast the Guardian Priest and have an extra mana untapped. So it basically cost us nothing. We killed his creature for 1 mana. So it's trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay. I think we'll let the opponent do that a few times. We're going to just press our advantage with this card. With 3/4, there's no way they block, and we'll just easily block this. So the next turn we can cast the Faith Bearer, and then we can start locking down creatures. So once we have our Faith Bearer on the board next turn, we can play Choking Restraints and tap a creature. So we could essentially neutralize 2 of the opponent's creatures on the same turn after we have all 3 of our attackers on the board. And since the Faith Bearer has lifelink, that'll swing us ahead in the race even further. So the onus is now on the opponent to pose, some threat that we need to deal with. We have already potentially 2 answers waiting, 1 on board, 1 in hand. So the only way we're probably going to lose this game is through a couple of really powerful rare type cards, something that's just a really hard to deal with threat, or some powerful removal spells that gain card advantage, maybe a big card draw spell. So we might not have a good attack here because the opponent just has all their mana untapped, just really begging a trick. So the Power Hound is going to get bigger, and we don't want to have to use our tapper yet. So I think at this point we just play the Faith Bearer, and then pass. No attacks. And then next turn is when we start setting up our attacks. Okay, opponent plays Fortune's Favor. I like that card. Gives the Power Hound a bonus. So target opponent looks at the top 4 cards of their library, separates them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put one pile into your hand and the other pile into the graveyard. So let's go with, say, 3 cards in hand. This guy is going to cost 1,000,000 mana because they have no instants and sorceries in the graveyard. Let's see, I think I'm like 5 for 5 in testing for the Pro Tour in choosing the right pile. And let me see if I can do it the other way, where I force the opponent to choose the wrong pile. The opponent missed their land drop, so they probably want lands. So a 1/3 doesn't do a lot on this board. It'll block the Steadfast Cathar. I think if I give the opponent the option of these 2 face up and these 2 face down, they'll probably take these. Otherwise, they get 2 islands. I think if I do the islands face up, they'll just take the islands. And so I don't want them to get the islands. If I do like Island Reveler, they'll probably take that pile. If I do Island Scab, they'll probably take the other pile. I think this is the one that we want them to have. We want to separate the 2 islands with the Reveler. We'd rather give this one face up. So let's do that. See what they take. I suspect they're going to take the face down. Oh, they took face up. All right. So they took the 8 drop. Now it's going to be a 7 drop. And they took the 1/2. Or the 1/3. So now they continue to be choked on mana because we didn't give them either of the lands. They drew a land. So now they're 2 lands away from casting the Reveler. They have the Reveler, they have the 1/3, and they have 3 non-land cards in hand because they missed their land drop the last turn and they just made it this turn. So we know they drew the land, and they have 3 other non-land cards. I guess if they could have held 1 land in hand, didn't play out their final land, certainly a possibility. But not if they're casting Fortune Favor, because if they get multiple lands, yeah. Alright, so here we have a couple of options. I think one option that I like is dealing with this Pyre Hound one way or the other. I feel like casting Choking Restraints on it, and then tapping the 1/3. So we're Choking Restraints the guy, attack their guys. Before blockers, we'll tap the 1/3. let that resolve. And then we're going to tap this guy. So now the opponent doesn't have any good blocks as of now. And then next turn we can Angelic Purge and tap a thing. I feel like the opponent probably took the wrong pile. Comes a spell. Uh-oh. Up to 2 target creatures each get +1/0 and first strike. Alright. It's a trick. So he gets the first strike down, my Inspired Captain. Takes 5 down to 12, I go up to 19. It's another good trick to know about. 3 mana, instant. We still have a considerable advantage because of this Angelic Purge in hand. The opponent still has to do something else. We know one of their cards in hand, which now costs 6 mana, so if they play a land, they could actually play it this turn. Otherwise, they probably want to play out the rest of their hand first. So I guess we would like to hold the Angelic Purge for that creature, giving off 3 extra cards in hand. We really need to continue to press our advantage, I guess, our board advantage. If we draw an Ironclad Slayer, then our play is probably exile the Pyrehound, tap a guy, next turn, Ironclad Slayer, bring back the Choking Restraints, replay Choking Restraints. We have two Slayers, so 2 out of 27 chance of that happening. The opponent likely has bounce spells. Okay, so we discard these planes that I held because I'm a master. Okay, so they have 3 in graveyard, 5 lands, so they can play out their guy next turn if they so choose. They could have bounced their Pyrehound. Instead they bounced our guy. I guess they would have had to discard a card, but next turn if they just play the Reveler, then I don't know. Whatever. Let's see, add 1 to your mana pool, only cast instants and sorceries. Beginning of your upkeep, if there are 3 or more instant sorceries in the graveyard, transform. There are 3, so it becomes a 3/4 prowess. That is spells cost 1 less. It's pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable. We could attack for 2 damage. Not super big on that. I think I want to just jam this guy back down. I guess it's possible the opponent took the right pile. Depends on what those lands would have done. I don't know what that last card in the opponent's hand is. Alright, so they discard 2 and draw 3, sure. It was a 6-drop and a 4-drop. Can't attack unless you cast a non-creature spell. Okay, that's strange. I feel like just playing that guy would have been better. At least he didn't have 6 mana. I guess they chose the wrong pile. Alright, so now I think we want to... So the ideal time to use your tapper is on the opponent's turn. So then you get to untap with the tapper fresh again. If you tap it on your turn, then they have the option of attacking with their creature on their turn. So I think we're going to play our land, play the Paladin, pass. On the opponent's turn, we're going to tap down one of these 3/4 prowess creatures. And then we can untap and we can Angelic Purge the other one and just have really good attacks. So it requires us to play the land. Pass. Then next turn, we can start gaining a big advantage. So now the opponent has to have a big turn this turn. Otherwise, they're about to fall considerably behind. Alright, so that was step 1. That's why we wanted to Choking Restraints to exile that guy previously. So return their own creature, draw a card. So now that thing's in the graveyard. We basically got a free Pyrehound out of it. But it's okay, we gained tempo. Now the question is, do we want to tap a creature before it attacks? I think I'm okay with the opponent attacking with basically everything in this spot. And we'll tap down the Pyrehound. So I think we want the opponent to attack, right? Yeah, bring it. Bring both. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Take it. I mean, when we attack, we gain 6 life. So now the question is, who do we want to Angelic Purge? So we want to, because if we're going to purge the Pyrehound, we want to tap one of these guys. So we could tap the Scab, purge the Pyrehound, and attack for 8, and they have no good blocks. We go to 4, we go to 17, and then the opponent has basically no good attacks back. So I think we're going to do that. I don't know of a blue trick that's going to be like untap 2 creatures or something. Probably exists. Let's attack. If you want to chump block someone, be my guest. And this is why trying to race a pair of lifelink creatures with a pair of non-lifelink creatures of the same size does not work. In case you weren't aware. Alright, so he plays a 3/4 flyer. Yep, discard 2 cards to get it back. Sure. Yeah, you can attack with everyone, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. You have to deal 8 extra damage. Is there a red card that does that? I don't know. Bring it. Alright, we'll tap one of these prowess creatures. Ooh. So all our guys gain lifelink. Which doesn't help that much. It does give us another attacker though, and the opponent's only got 1 card left in hand. We could go like tap your Reveler, attack, then the opponent's like, okay, double block a guy, take 1, take 3, go to 1, and then we basically traded a Paladin for a Reaver. I don't really like that. I think I'd rather just wait another turn and do the thing where we just tap the guy on the opponent's turn. Counterspell. Counter target creature spell. Spells counter this way. Exile instead, put it in the graveyard. Alright. So opponent's down to 0 cards in hand. Now that we know we can't rely on that, the question is, do we want to make our attack now? Because we're basically going to be in the same position next turn. We'd have to tap the 4/5. Opponent would put the 1/3 and the 3/4 in front of the Paladin, or the 2/2, and then put the 1/3 in front of our 2/3. So we basically trade a Paladin for a 1/3. Opponent would go to 1. Then we could go tap a guy, end step, untap, tap a guy. Yeah, I think I'll wait. Ooh, that one's pretty good. That's a really good draw there. I'm just going to tap the flyer. Not helpful. Ooh, things are looking rough now. Man, scrying every turn to even boards in this position. Opponent's going to probably find something first. Man. I wonder if maybe the turn we should have just exiled with Choking Restraints instead of playing a Faith Bearer. Maybe that was the line. That's certainly one thing that we could have done differently. Galvanic Bombardment, targeting our tapper. We still have quite a few cards we can draw here. Well, that one's not bad. Alright, opponent's tapping one of their own creatures. Ooh. This could be a blowout. So we can make our guys into like 5/6, tap a creature, I guess we would want to tap one of the 3/4s. One probably kept an instant. They scry at the top. Scry to the top. Oh, that was bombardment. Scry to the bottom. Okay, so it could just be a land in hand too. Alright, well, attack with everyone. This guy will be a 5/4. So let's tap this guy. The opponent makes some blocks that on the surface look like they might work out. Hopefully you didn't scry to the bottom and draw the nut. This is lethal. This is 4 damage that gets through. It's game. Good games.